So this is an example of what a weekly theme would look like for me and how I might integrate some 4C's into this. So I've chosen out of Unit 3, third grade California Treasures textbook, the week of Let's Communicate. That's this week's theme. And so I would start off with this slide, and I have a few pictures up of some children who are communicating. And I would have a short discussion with the students. What do you see? I'd ask them what they see in the pictures. Oh, I see a boy singing on a microphone. Okay, is that a way to communicate? Is that a form of communication? Sure. Um, and then they could explain their reasoning to you. Then you have a gal here who's signing, and is signing a way of communicating, and you could talk about sign language and how people use that. And then you've also got a little girl here at the bottom who's talking on a phone. And so just the ability to communicate through our speaking and our listening is important as well. And so this is a great way of starting to build some background knowledge before you even start. And of course, you are already communicating. You're already showing students how they are thinking creatively, and they're also thinking critically as they're talking about what they know about communication. Then what I would do is start with my week at a glance. I always show this to my students because I think it's important that they see where we're going for the week. This also helps me plan. This doubles as a way for students to know where we're going, but also a way to keep me on track and allows me to pace my time through my curriculum. And the reason I say it allows me to pace my time is because each of these links here are hyperlinks within my presentation. So the topics I have are on the left-hand column of oral language, word study, reading, language arts, and assessments. And you'll know that those are also the components of a weekly lesson within the Treasures textbook. So I start off on Monday with a focus question, and so when I click on that, the focus question comes up. What are some different types of tools that people use to communicate with each other? So we built some background knowledge already with the first slide, which was my introduction to the week and the theme. But now we're gonna think a little deeper about what are some different types of tools. And so this would be maybe a think, pair, share activity where you get students to communicate and collaborate as well as think creatively. You can have them draw the pictures. You can have them just write them down, write the tools down, and then prepare to share. What I've done here is every time you see this little cell phone at the bottom corner, that's actually a hyperlink that takes me back to my main page. This is key because this is what helps keeps me on time and helps me pace my lesson so that I don't get off track with one thing. So I can always go back to the main frame. So after we've talked about the focus question and the students have had a chance to share, then we go back. All right, students, so the next thing that we're going to do is story read aloud. So I click on that. So the read aloud is going to be election day. And I have a little image here to show them, what a voting booth might be. I even hyperlinked to a YouTube video which is and I won't click on it, but it's the all about elections on Sesame Street. So if I felt like my students still weren't quite understanding what election day meant, I could show them a little clip of a YouTube video, or maybe Brain Pop if you have access to Brain Pop or Discovery. So you can find a video that is that maybe gives a visual representation of an explanation of election day, and you can link to it. That's a great way to infuse a little more visuals and especially for your visual learners and your auditory learners. Okay, so after I read read aloud election day, the next thing we're going to move into is our word study. So we'll start with vocabulary. And here I have instructions for the students. In this case, they're going to open to page 156. And the three words we're going to focus on are estimate, focus, and record. And I always include an image with the vocabulary word because, like I said before, not all of our students, especially for our second language learners, they can't always understand what that word is or sound it out properly. Sometimes a visual really helps make sense of whatever that vocabulary word is and helps put it into their memory like, oh yeah, I remember that picture of a little boy estimating how many marbles were in the jar. So that's what that means, is guessing how many, like how I would guess how many marbles are in the jar is also an estimation. Focus, you can see these girls are focused on what they're doing on the computer. And record, the way that it's really important to look at the context of how the vocabulary word is used within the story. So the way this particular word record is used in the story is was record numbers. So we want students to understand it's not a record like a record player, although they probably are so young that they would not even they're young, so they wouldn't even know what a record is because we don't play records anymore. We don't even play CDs anymore. So when something happens in record numbers, and so that shows how that is done.